Okay. Should be streaming now. Okay. Cool. Welcome to today's brief talk. It's on the future of cryptocurrency, which is obviously a broad subject that could take hours and months and years to cover. But it's more of just kind of a primer for people who have been tuning in acutely, let's say, since the middle of 2017. So these are people who got caught up in, the latest, biggest wave that has happened in the crypto space, most notably with Bitcoin, just touching $20,000, and now sitting here in almost July, the end of June, we're looking at about a 70% correction down to $6,000, a little above, and it's prolonged too. So it's been about 6 months. So this is a big deal for a lot of people who entered in the midst of this rise up and now find themselves kind of back to even or maybe even down in terms of dollars and potentially Bitcoin if you've invested in various altcoins. So that's kind of what this is about, less than, the technical, advances that are being made not only with Bitcoin and Lightning Network and a lot of other second and third layer protocols that are just improving the crypto space and various other projects in the crypto space, but more about like what's going to be happening in the next year, in the next 2 years. So I maintain the position that the vast majority of crypto projects, cryptocurrencies, blockchain projects are garbage. Sorry, I'm not one of those people who thinks that this is going to be the solution for everything. Now, that said, I do think it's going to be a solution for enough big things that it will be revolutionary. So I'm not backing off that this technology and what this can do is going to be less important. But the truth is, most of these cryptocurrency projects, blockchain projects, are superfluous or just not needed or just kind of scams, right? So I think it's important to review the clear distinction between when people try to eliminate Bitcoin from the discussion and just focus on blockchain technology. Blockchain technology is only revolutionary because of certain concepts that it implements. One of those is decentralization, and the other is immutability. Otherwise, it serves pretty much as a regular old database. It's just slower and more expensive to uphold and maintain and secure. So for a lot of reasons, that's not applicable to, any number of industries or sectors or projects or whatever you want to look at. It's just not a good fit. However, when it comes to currencies or money or banking or things like that, I mean, there's quite a bit, there's a lot of use for that, right? When middlemen are taking up various, hold on, I'm getting a call from my wife in the middle of this, of course. Alexis, you're blowing up my computer, my stream. I can't edit this out because it's live. All right, well, we're just going to let that go, and hopefully it doesn't mess with too much. But am I still connected? Yes. Anyway, back to the point. What I was saying is this, is essentially there's a lot of different applications of blockchain technology, but many of them aren't needed. So that brings us back to the point, which ones are needed? I would look at Bitcoin as the main cryptocurrency, not only because it's worth the most, it has the mind share, all of that, because it's the best. It functions as a currency. It can be traded and sent back and forth quickly enough. I'm sorry you can't buy a coffee with it right now, but that will change. And it holds its value relatively well. Yes, it is volatile, but on the whole, it is risen in value at an extraordinary rate. Even when people are saying it's crashing now, it's the fact that it's crashing to $6,000 for people who have been in this for a few years. It's a funny thought to think about because it's not really a crash. It's only a crash if you bought when it was higher. So this isn't a crash. It's a very important thing to remember. Now, if it's a personal crash for you, this is a really good time to kind of recalibrate where you are and why you're doing this. a lot of people, myself included, when it was just rising so quickly and we were fortunate enough to be early investors, got caught up, right? And this is like, oh my God, this is insane. You know, never going to have to do anything else again. This is going to be it. Now, while I still maintain if you're able to invest and wisely do it and research, you probably still have a great chance at that asymmetric bet. Otherwise, you should just, you know, if you're just looking to get rich quickly in this space and you don't really know what you're doing, it's almost a guarantee that you're going to get wrecked and you're going to get pretty much assed out, right? There's no other way to say it. Don't do that. That's not the right approach with pretty much anything. But if you look at the fundamentals of what's going on in this space, how not this kind of mythical institutional money is coming, but if you see how banks are preparing, financial firms are preparing, venture capital firms are getting involved, it's very, very different than it was even 2 years ago. It's a drastically different space. And I think that speaks to, you know, how quickly things can change in this, you know, new media landscape and how quickly we're connected to each other. But also, it's a reflection of the fundamentals of Bitcoin and a lot of cryptocurrency projects, or some, I should say, cryptocurrency projects, being quite sound. And rather than it being just a case of waiting for the other shoe to drop, Bitcoin and, you know, other projects that have emerged and sustained in that time have gone through pretty much unceasing attacks and attempts to bring it down, both intentional and unintentional. And the fact that it's persevered really should mean quite a bit for people who are looking to invest in the space or learn more about it. The other thing I'd like to point out for people who are kind of caught up in this space right now, and you know the future is kind of murky or hard to think about, and you just want to know if the price is going to go up or down, this is a wonderful time. This is perhaps the best time to start researching and getting involved and potentially investing small amounts into cryptocurrency, even if it goes down. The worst time to do it is when everything is running up, when everything is going crazy and you want to jump on and you want to FOMO in, and you know, that's the worst time. It doesn't mean it can't work. It actually can work quite well. It just means that you're not really going to learn too much in that time because it's going to be a frenzy. It's going to be, you know, moving so quickly. You're going to have to be tuned into this and that. And yes, you can learn along the way when you're going there, but really it's just kind of like trying not to get, you know, bowled over by the waves that are coming. When things are slow and people are losing interest, that's the time to really start looking at these things. It doesn't mean you're going to get the quickest returns necessarily, but it means that if you really start paying attention, you're going to have an edge the next time something bubbles up. Now, the good news is for the people who have been tuning in to Cryptosync and all the things we've been doing since the end of last year, you're going to have all this knowledge that we learned from these cycles for the next one as well. That said, I really encourage people. I'm not a huge technical analysis person in terms of looking at charts. Yes, you want to have some idea of where price and volume are headed or where they've been. But for the most part, I've maintained this from the beginning. This is a fundamental game. If I operate from the premise where many of these projects are garbage, they're just not going to amount to anything. Even if they're not garbage, it's just an uphill battle for many of them to succeed. You know, whether they're currencies or platforms or tokens or whatever it is, it's just not the easiest thing to do to succeed. So operating from there, I can eliminate the vast majority of projects. Now, I will obviously eliminate things that rise in value, but if I can identify enough of them that I think will be around in a year or 2 years or 3 years and continue to research both the pros and cons. You want to be very clear about looking at potential flaws for a lot of these projects. I think that's, you know, something that bolsters me and gives me confidence that this isn't like, you know, oh, everything's down, this sucks, it's a bear market, boo, when are things going to go up again? No, it's okay. Well, we got a little opportunity here. Things are low. I would have killed for this opportunity back in January when VE Chain was going up to like $9. I would have loved to be able to buy some at $2. So you have to constantly recalibrate and adjust to your personal entries and just the industry entries. And for anyone who thinks that things are not good with Bitcoin, you're wrong. it's just this is a wonderful time. We're being presented with yet another opportunity to get in before the prices are so astronomically high in a few years. And I know this sounds crazy. If you haven't researched it, if you don't understand why I'm using this, it can sound hyperbolic, right? It can sound like, oh, well, how do you know the price is going to be higher? I don't. Just like I didn't know in 2013 that the price would be higher in 2018. I thought it would be a little bit higher from when I bought it in 2013. I never envisioned it would be sitting around $6,000 right now. So I'm not saying the same rise will happen again in another 5 years or 4 years or whatever it is, but the fundamentals aren't changing. And if they are changing, they're changing for the better. These are just facts. Go read about some of this stuff. We'll talk about Lightning Network in another talk, but there's a reason I started Cryptosync. There's a reason that I did this. There's a reason I started this not as a paid trading group, but as a community where we learn about these things. So regardless of what the market is doing, whether it's up or down, we have opportunities to learn and grow and understand what is going on here and what may potentially emerge. So yeah, that's it. It's a very brief talk today. It's not the grand future of cryptocurrency. It's just kind of a reminder in the middle of a down period that no need to be upset. Everything is going to be okay. So that's it, and I will see you guys soon. Oh, one last thing. July 12th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be doing Live Synchronicity. That's my podcast and Cryptosync Hangout. If you want details on how to join that, you need to join the Cryptosync email list, which can be found at syncpodcast.com/crypto. You sign up there, and Sync Podcast is SYNC podcast.com. So if you want information on that, sign up there and you'll be reminded a day or so before July 12th. Okay,